This is a 1 to 3,000 block scale model of the Earth, all created in Minecraft. Filled with your favorite Minecraft content creators, this is a brewery for faction conflict, goofy trolling, and most importantly, war. Oh, but it's not your normal SMP anymore. That's because now I'm here. On day 1, the head admin was kind enough to provide me with some starter supplies. You know, the usual of course. Some iron, steak, a crafting table, a few OP items since he was rich. Oh, and I forgot to mention, a gun. With that, he set me off on my way to claim India. I was able to do so with a feature called power. The more power a player has, the more land they claim. This is important later. After leaving the story painter, I called up my friend Frizz McWiz. We immediately built a golden Among Us statue to assert dominance. Yeah, I love making Earthbound disappointed in me on the first day. Everything seemed to be going smooth. I started working on a house, had quite a large plot of land compared to some other individuals, and even had a few valuables in my name. However, I had no allies except for Frizz, and with a country as weak as mine, I needed large backup in case somebody threatened me. I had to weigh my options. Option 1, I could join the Bofa Alliance, who had lots of staff and the head admin. This meant that they had infinite power in the palm of their hands if they so chose to use it. They likely knew the code of the server and had access to cheeky admin abuses which would provide great advantages. Or option 2, I could join the Swagistan Yukon Coalition, who had Among Us characters on the map. I chose number 2. I sent Don Turnt, one of the leaders of the Yukon, a message explaining how I would be valuable to the team. So we got into a call. He casually warned me that if I were to betray the coalition, he would nuke the entirety of India. And then we started grinding levels for my gear. One thing to note is that resources spawn naturally. India in real life is the second largest producer of coal, and therefore my mines were filled with them. So after Dawn left, I was able to trade some of that coal with Ivel, but what I wasn't expecting was a glorious parting gift of 2 netherite. Little did I know just how soon I would need to put it to use. Obviously, I was the newbie on the server, and wanting to be nice, I hopped onto the story painter's stream. He mentioned how he was preparing for an upcoming war, in which those 2 sides I mentioned earlier were going to go head to head in. What he didn't know was that about an hour earlier, I became a part of the opposing side. Then I got an idea, just one more thing to make the admins mad at me. Instead of blatantly stating which side I was on, I would have to do some trolling first.
Your country name is freaking not yours. I'm gonna go take over India, guys.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, you can change the name of your country, and after a little more chaos...
Oh, I see you! Hi! I can swim faster than you! Oh, you're gonna go over to Phrase.
What happened? My side of the war had been leaked, and I just had to quickly get stacked before any other Bofa members decided to take my land. A few more days passed with slowly yet steady progress. On the server, there are specific shops which you can look at to purchase different items, such as mending books or diamonds. Or, of course, you could do what I did and purchase a broomstick. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Look at me go! In order to speed up my advancement, I used this flying broomstick to bring out my inner psychopathic witch to fly all the way to the top of the world, past the void, to the frontier, to the only woodland mansion on the server. I just wanted a totem man, and I sure think that traveling this far deserves a few subscribers, don't you? Subscribe! Upon my arrival, most of the area seemed to have been covered, and I thought all hope was lost. But it was to a small prevail that there was one evoker left, and with that, I had it. Likely one of the only totems I'm dying on the entire server. Oh, and before leaving, I also broke every single bookshelf. Wanting to help my team prepare for the war, I got the enchants Dawn had recommended with the books I had collected, which, by the way, we weren't just fighting this war just because. We were doing it for a deal. If the Swagistan Yukon Coalition won, they would gain 1 million power. However, if Bofa won, everyone from the opposing team would be forced to join their alliance. So, while everything on my end seemed to be progressing smoothly, some plans behind the scenes were actually falling apart. Initially, when I told Dawn that I would be a valuable asset of the team, I recommended I could use the /share health command, which allowed you to, haha, you guessed it, share my health with another player, particularly somebody good at PvP, you know, to make them stronger. But in the general meeting the day before the war, I learned that this was illegal. Oh, and remember how I also spent all that time getting a totem? Well, the day of the war, I offered my leader, Ashswag, the totem, mainly to prove to him I was loyal to the coalition, but also because I figured that even if I had the totem on me, it was still highly likely I would die. I found out that after the war, totems were also illegal. You may be wondering, oh Mokezi, why is this such a problem? Well, the whole reason this war was started in the first place was because Ashswag was charged in court for war crimes, and then he committed more war crimes by blowing up the courthouse. And those illegal things that I just mentioned are also considered war crimes. And while I did want to move my place on this D&D chart from lawful good to chaotic evil at some point, you know, just for funsies, now was not the time to be charged with serious offenses. At this point, we were reaching the final few hours before the war was officially set to begin. As I was preparing some final things, such as getting potions and whatnot, I teleported around to the Swagistan areas to finalize other plans. Number 1, we would have multiple people purchase planes from the shop menu, each of them equipped with bombs. A few minutes before the war would begin, pilots would fly off this platform and head to the city where we would wage war. And part 2, we would also have players start as on-land soldiers, those good with PvP and who had ample potions to get them through the war. Pretty simple, right? That was until I got into VC with Ashswag, my official leader.
Wait, Mokezi, Fruitmasus, and Meta, you guys are fighting for us?
He had no idea that I was fighting on his side. Like, bro, Dawn, you gotta get some better communication to your leader. This basically meant that while I was stacked with the items Dawn had given me, I was not written into this discussed plan, and neither was Fruitmasus. So, as everyone was about to launch off their airplanes, I was frantically stuck at home collecting what few diamonds I had to actually purchase a plane. And when I teleported to the launch pad, everyone was leaving, and I didn't even have plane training or bombs yet. This meant that once I would reach the site, I would just be flying around in circles aimlessly. So that left me one thing to do. I was to become an on-land soldier once I made it there by plane. Problem was, I lost my way to the city because we weren't allowed to have the map open. So I teleported to Ash, but being the stupid, unfocused human I was, I started charging towards the enemy team, and I think I scared Ash a little.
Imagine not
Stop, come back, come back. Stay behind here.
I'm sorry, running around just keeps me entertained. I can't just stand there, cringe. With that, the war began and all chaos broke loose. Delilah drew the first blood. Airplanes were bombing the city from above. I just chilled with Big Man from Bofa because he was invisible and I didn't even know who he was. But it all led up to one big moment when we all targeted the story painter. Yeah, remember that guy from earlier who threatened India? He's the official leader of Bofa. And after lots of fighting, Delilah did it again. However, the war was not over. Someone started using a machine gun of sorts and everything for me started going downhill. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Okay.
I'm gonna die.
You're good.
This is so stressful.
It is. Real.
This is so loud. I love this so much.
But I survived like that book series. The rest of the members were killed off rather quickly, apart from Big Man, that invis guy from earlier. Yeah, I should've just stabbed him then. For about 10 minutes, everyone was just trying to kill him, but he kept prowling away, which made it very difficult. Until this moment.
Yes! Let's go!
We literally killed him right before Bofa called ceasefire. We had won, or at least we thought. Following the war, both sides met up far away to discuss.
Ash, why are you not wearing pants?
Look at me.
But it started going off the rails.
Getting our 1 million power.
Oh, you'll get your 1 million power, of course. I'm a man of my word, but ultimately at what cost? Why have a server altogether? No matter what I do, no matter what I try, it's always Josh admin abuses.
Then
And
just
I'm
get rid of your
tired
admin tag, man. Make us the admins.
That was a mistake. To switch the conversation from 1 million power to admin abuse, that is, because now
The server can. Oh, he's not admin anymore.
we have this guy. Psst, sometimes I post exclusive Earthbound content only to YouTube Shorts, so don't miss out and go watch them here. And subscribe!